Hello everyone, it's Dmitry, and today we will discuss preparation and maintenance of your abrasive stones. What should be done, what shouldn't you do, and what results you could achieve with properly prepared and maintained stones. Let's find out. Once you bought yourself a brand new abrasive stone, you need to prepare it properly for operation. Why? Because it will provide more efficiency after preparation. As a final part of production technology, stones are baked in a special oven, and a certain layer of technical crust is created on the working surface of your abrasive stone. That's why it is recommended to remove it. Preparation of the abrasive stone is required when we need to remove the technical layer of crust on the stone and, so to say, open the working surface of the stone when the abrasive elements will work as they should. Also, I have to mention that the procedure of preparation is not required for the abrasives like natural stones and diamond-coated plates. What we want as a result of this preparation process is a flat surface with all abrasive grains on the working surface of the stone opened for operation. Right now I'm showing you a very simple life hack. When using the pencil, we mark the surface of the abrasive stone, which will allow us to understand if the surface is flat from the factory or not. Because when we are talking about the sharpening process, we want a perfect result for our knives. So we need the stone to work with the whole surface. For this abrasive stone made of aluminum oxide on ceramic bond, I will use a silicon carbide powder with extra coarse grains F80, and I'll need a tempered glass and some water. It is important to mention that I may also use aluminum oxide powder, and it's a more gentle solution for your stones, but for this kind of bond and this kind of abrasive element, this kind of powder is more effective. What you need to do first is to put some water on a tempered glass, then on the surface of the stone, and then we put a small amount of this powder on the wet glass. Please keep in mind that you should avoid inhaling this powder during the operation. I would recommend to use a respirator, because aluminum oxide and silicon carbide will not leave your organism during your lifespan. And then you start to work. As you may see, this stone is processed on the tempered glass everywhere except this area. So we have a small curve of the surface that we need to remove and make it flat. What can I say? This operation doesn't take longer than 2-3 minutes. As the pencil marks will be removed from the whole surface, it is okay and this stone is ready to go. I would recommend to perform the same operation with all stones from the set. If you would ask me about the proper selection of grain size for aluminum oxide or silicon carbide powders, I would say that recommendation is always the same. When we want to open the working surface of the stone, to prepare it for operation, we need to pick the powder with gritness twice bigger, 1.5 or 2 times bigger than the gritness of this stone, which means that numbers will be smaller. What I'm trying to say here, the gritness is 120, which means that here we'll have a gritness of 80. So what is actually important for your abrasive stone? You see, it doesn't matter if we are preparing the abrasive stone for the first sharpening process or we have several knives sharpened and we just want your abrasive stone to be in good condition. The idea is always the same. Its working surface should be flat and the abrasive elements of this surface sometimes should be renewed. So what we are doing every time is flattening this surface and removing the old layer of abrasives. Some of them could be broken, or some part of the surface could be infected with bigger grains of previous abrasive stones. Once we've completed to work with abrasive powder, it doesn't matter what it was, silicon carbide or aluminum oxide, we need to clean the remaining grains from the glass. To do that, we need running water of room temperature, and to do that, we will work with abrasive stone on the tempered glass for 2-5 minutes. This would be a sufficient amount of time. Please keep in mind that when you work with tempered glass, you shouldn't apply any additional pressure on the stone. Let it work under its own weight, because our final goal is to reach a flat surface without any additional curves. Also, in our online shop, you can purchase this stone called Madrid. What is this? Actually, it's the same aluminum oxide on the ceramic bond, but softer than for normal abrasive stones. The main idea of this stone is quite simple. It will help you to remove the surface layer of your abrasive stone faster than you would do this with abrasive powder and tempered glass. What kind of stones you can process with it? Well, actually, it doesn't matter what kind of bond it is, but just as I said before, we are not talking about the natural stones or diamond coatings. Some of you might have a question about selection of the abrasive powder. What's the difference between the silicon carbide and aluminum oxide? Well, actually the answer is simple. Both of them work good enough, but the silicon carbide works a bit faster, a bit more aggressive. Still, the structure of particles is fragile, and the aluminum oxide will work just a bit slower, but when it comes to a prolonged operation using this powder, it will keep the size of the grains the same a bit longer than silicon carbide. So the selection is up to you. Now, when most of you know what to do, I guess you have a simple question. How often should I perform these operations with my abrasive stone? So the answer is simple. You need to check two things. How effective your stone works with steel. If it works as fast as it should, then everything is okay, I guess. And what happens with the working surface of the abrasive stone. So when it comes to effectiveness, it's easy to check during the sharpening process. And when it comes to the surface, well, you may need some flat object. For example, it could be an aluminum blank or metal scale, doesn't matter. You need to apply it to the working surface and see if there is any gap between the flat scale and the surface of this stone. So you will see if this surface has any curves, and then you will decide, does this stone require any maintenance, flattening or not. Okay, the last and the main advice from me to you in this video would be about making sure that your abrasive stones work in accordance with specified gritness. To be sure, once you performed a preparation or maintenance, it doesn't matter. Clean the tempered glass under running water, make sure that there is no residue material on it. I mean, no remaining abrasive powder or abrasive grains from the previous stone. It should be clean. And then, under running water, just move the stone on this tempered glass for 2-3 minutes. It will help to release this surface from any remaining material that was left by Madrid or by the abrasive powder, it doesn't matter. This is a required operation that you have to perform. I hope this video was useful for you. Don't forget to press like, subscribe to our channel, If you have any questions, you may leave them in your comments down below, and I'll see you next time.